Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm RetroNemo, and are you guys excited for Adventure Time series finale? Woo! Actually, it's kind of sad. Yes, as we all know, Adventure Time is finally coming to a close after all of these years, all of these seasons. It's gonna get a proper conclusion. And although the finale had an airing last night as I'm recording this, which means it's technically already out, I haven't seen it, and I don't think you have either, so I think it's still okay if we're hyping it up a little bit. Because there's a lot to this finale. A lot has been building up. There's gonna be a great Gumball war between Princess Bubblegum and her uncle Gumbald. It's going to be a huge event, probably the biggest Adventure Time event, just because it's going to be bringing the series to a close. So yeah, needless to say, I'm pretty excited. And today we figured we'd give a rundown on all of the villains that Gumbald has. As you may or may not know, in the last episode, Prince Gumbald, who of course is Princess Bubblegum's uncle, organized a team of previous Adventure Time villains together to fight in his army. This was a great way to do it. It was a little throwback to all of these incredible villains from the past. So we're going to give you a rundown of who they are, what they were in the series, in case you don't know, and just get you ready for this finale when it finally airs. On Princess Bubblegum's side, we have Finn and Jake, Marceline, basically the entire Candy Kingdom is gonna fight in this war. But on Prince Gumball's side, we have, I would say, maybe less desirable villains. Let's start out with Fern. Now, he refers to him as the Green Knight. I'm not sure if this is his new name or if he was just being overdramatic. Fern was originally Finn's grass sword, which was a curse that he got to always have this grass sword in his arm. And this grass sword eventually fused with Finn's other Finn sword, which was a sword that had an alternate version of Finn in it. It's kind of confusing, but when they fused together, it culminated into this alternative version of Finn made of grass, who had all of Finn's memories, thought he was Finn, but just wasn't. He lived on their roof for a little bit, then eventually he was sick of living in the real Finn's shadow and decided to fight him. Finn eventually split Fern into a bunch of pieces, but all those pieces were brought back together and reassembled by Prince Gumbald. Then there's Ricardio the Heart Guy. Ricardio is an OG villain from season 1 of the show. He's Ice King's heart come to life. His original plan was to rip out Princess Bubblegum's heart and marry it, but he was defeated that episode and later returned to the Ice King. Although he came back later in the episode Lady and Peebles, he was again defeated, he crawled away, and Ice King got a new heart. It looks like he's coming back for a final time. Bandit Princess is just a jerk overall. She originally stole Finn's other Finn sword and went on a rampage, killing a bunch of people and just stealing and being bad overall. Now Finn and Bandit Princess eventually get into a final fight, which leads to the other Finn sword being destroyed temporarily. It's kind of a dark ending. Bandit Princess is just a jerk. You're a jerk, Bandit Princess. I don't like you. Samantha is a dog person, sort of like Jake, but more humanoid. After Jake was kidnapped by the demon Kia and thrown into a pit, Samantha was thrown there as well, and they were told to fight. Even though Jake was like, hey, listen, my buddy Finn's gonna bust us out at any point, she still demands to fight Jake. And they end up getting rescued in the middle of their fight, but this isn't after she did some flirting with Jake that did not go over too well with him. He's a faithful dog, so they kind of have a history together. Peacemaster is a confusing villain. He's just a humble dad who hates dark magic. He has a tiny charm shack that he uses as his primary weapon, and he was in the Candy Kingdom trying to rid it of this dark magic and this villain that he thought that was in there, who turned out to be Peppermint Butler. Peppermint Butler ends up ultimately humiliating the Peacemaster, turning his kids into monsters, making him pull down his pants. It got weird. So Peacemaster's really just a guy who lost everything. It's really depressing. Me-Mow is our next villain. Me-Mow is a wannabe assassin who tried originally to kill Wildberry Princess, but was thwarted by Jake. She came back in another episode as a failed assassin, this time trying to kidnap Finn, but was ultimately thwarted again by Jake and Me-Mow. Our next villain, Pete Sassafrass, was a candy citizen wrongly imprisoned for robbing Lumpy Space Princess. There's not too much to him. Our next villain, Ash, was Marceline's jerk ex-boyfriend. If you don't remember, he attempted to destroy Marceline's memory of their breakup after Marceline broke up with him, but ultimately loses and gets beat up by Finn and Jake. Sir Slicer is another OG villain. He was a jerk who rode on the horse and made fun of Finn, mostly for not having really cool armor like he did. But in the end, it was revealed that cool armor isn't everything, because his cool armor didn't allow him to stand up and ended up being his crutch. I'm super surprised to see Sir Slicer back. Scorcher was a hitman who was sent by the Ice King to kill Finn and Jake, when the Ice King wasn't really sure what a hitman was. He's cold, he's emotionless, he has the ability of fire, he's a really cool villain. And finally, my favorite character in Adventure Time, Ice King. Ice King was an old scientist, Simon Petrikov, who found a magical crown that gifted him the power of ice, but slowly turned him insane. The power of ice is what allowed him to survive the Great Mushroom War and take care of Marceline as a young child, but now he completely succumbed to the power of the crown and is just completely insane. Obsessed with princesses, though I firmly believe that in the end of this episode, Ice King will end up on the other side with Finn and Jake and Princess Bubblegum fighting Gumbald. Sure, the Ice King started out as their primary villain of the series, but as his character developed and you gained more sympathy for him, he kind of became like a good guy. And now we just feel more bad for him than anything. but that's just a theory. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are all of the villains that Prince Gumbald assembled from the series for the series finale of Adventure Time. I hope you're all caught up and now you're just as excited for the finale as ever. But what do you guys think? Are you excited to see these villains? Are there some you don't like? Are there some you do like? Let us know in those comments down below. Do you even remember half of these guys? If you want to consider helping out the Roundtable, check us out on Patreon. There you can get exclusive access to scripts and avatars and have your name featured at the end of the video like all these beautiful people here, or for a little bit more, you can get a shout out at the end of the month. Guys, as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, share it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay in the loop with all things animation. My name is RetroNemo, this is a cartoon breakdown, and I'll see you next time. Peace.